I don't know about you, but I like remaking things. I don't know about you, but I like remaking things. I do not know about you, but I like remaking things. Every minute a baby is born and a remake is made. Because people love this stuff. Everyone's always asking for a remake of every game at any point in time. Maybe because the video game software and hardware is always improving in quality, so there's always a demand for old games to be updated. But with that all being said, we are looking at the best remakes that Nintendo has made. So without further ado, let's get into this. Well, what do we have here? What a concept! Foxes and animals in space flying spaceships. Also known as Star Fox 64 3DS. If you couldn't tell by the 64 in the title, it stands for the Nintendo 64, which is the original console that this game came out on. And now that it's been remade on the 3DS, it has a more confusing name than ever, but it also comes with a lot of great new updates and features. The graphics. All the models and textures have been redone and they look great, especially on a handheld. Also, there are new particle effects in this game and the lighting looks better than ever, especially reflected on the water. You can now use the 3DS gyro controls to control your R-Wing by tilting the system where you want to move. Combine that with having the second screen being turned into a first-person cockpit view that has voice comms between you and your teammates, and it can make it feel like you're actually controlling a spaceship in a galactic battle. Okay, not really, but it's still some pretty cool features that they put in the game. Also, the battle mode this time has been completely redone with new power-ups and arenas. Plus, you only need one copy of the game to play up to 4 players, making this mode more accessible. It's a fun little distraction for a great remake. Okay, good. I did that whole segment without making one barrel roll reference. Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland. I don't know why I said the title like that, but more importantly, this game is a remake of the first home console Kirby game, Kirby's Adventure. Look at the graphics in this game. The colors pop now. There's actually really nice textures in the game, and the backgrounds, they have a parallax effect now. This is really noticeable when comparing the first game, where the backgrounds moved at the same pace as the player. Plus, I don't know what the hell was going on at the left side of the screen in some of the levels in the original game, so needless to say, this game looks a lot better now. I love all the secrets in this game. They just place these hidden doors like everywhere. You gotta be like Sherlock Holmes to find all this stuff. And once you find these doors, you will see big red buttons in them. And these just give you a bunch of cool stuff. From unlocking new minigames to warp stars that take you to other levels. Whoa. Speaking of the minigames, this time they have been completely overhauled and redone. You'll be grinding super fast on rails like your Tony Hawk, or you'll be in intense stare-down fights like your Samurai Clint Eastwood. The minigames look and play great, that's the point here. Also in this remake, you can play the entire game as Meta Knight, making this the first time ever that you can play as this character, as seen on the cover. This is essentially the hard mode in this game, since you have half health and you can't use copy abilities. But that being said, he has his own arsenal of fun to use moves as well. Look at him, kid's a natural. He's like a bat. Really fun character to play as. So Metroid 1, it's a good game and all, but at the same time, it's Metroid 1. The goals as to what to do were pretty vague in this game, and it didn't have a map. Considering it's a non-linear exploration game, it made it pretty confusing. Luckily, we got a remake of this game known as Metroid Zero Mission for the Game Boy Advance, and whoa, what a remake this game was. A noticeable improvement is the movement. Word. You don't move slow. You're fast, you're swift, you're easy to control, and on top of all of that, you have a bunch of new moves at your disposal. And okay, this may be sounding pretty repetitive by now, but I still have to mention that the graphics look seriously better. There's backgrounds in this one. How did we come from a world without backgrounds and just darkness? Also, some of the old graphics are questionable. What are we in Bubble World? This is a lot better. See? Those aren't bubbles, but they now look like creepy space alien eyes. Okay, never mind, take me back. I don't want to see these creepy eyeball things looking at me. The boss has got a huge facelift. Ridley used to look like this, now he looks like that. Kraid used to be a small boy, and now he's a big boy. Plus, they just added in a bunch of bosses that weren't even in the original game. There's also these cutscenes now that better flesh out the characters and story in this game, creating a more immersive world and game experience. Dude, this remake is crazy. So Nintendo has actually been making quite a lot of Zelda remakes if you think about it. But for this list, I've decided to limit the amount of Zelda games to just one game, simply because of that, this, and that. So in the end, I chose the one about the Flute Time Machine. What an absolute remake! First of all, look at the game in question. It's one of the most critically acclaimed Zelda games ever. While some of the gameplay elements in the game are a bit dated by modern standards, the grand scale of your adventure and the world you're in can't be found in many other games. Speaking of the great world in this game, it now looks better and more immersive than ever with the new graphics. Yes, I'm mentioning this again, but look at the improvement in this game. The original world was great, but a lot of the times it didn't look so great. Did this game actually look this bad before? Jeez. This is wrong. No way the game looked like that. I gotta check this out for myself. Oh, it did look like this, right. Castletown is one notable mention, because before the models stuck out like a sore thumb since the buildings were a flat 2D image. Now everything is 3D and beautiful. Boom. 3D-ified. Oh yeah, I almost forgot, it's now like double 3D-ified because the game's on the 3DS, so you can see all the different graphics and features pop out more. Literally. Also, the 3DS features were great for this game. More precise aiming with the gyro installed in the system. The dual screens allowing for easy and quick item management and allowing you to see the map at all times, making navigation easier. And finally, there's a hard mode in this version where everything is harder and the entire game is mirrored. What a game. So here we are, we just have one remake left, and the ultimate remake out of any other Nintendo remake is... Yes, Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Literally everything you can possibly do right is done in this Pokemon game. More Pokemon than the original, a much longer game than the original, more challenging opponents, and of course beautiful graphics. Like, there are just so many new additions and updates in this game. It's crazy the amount of dedication that went into one remake. Some of the gym puzzles were updated and new areas were added. And for the first time since Yellow, you could walk with your Pokemon. But unlike Yellow, where you can only walk with Pikachu, you can now walk with every single Pokemon. This means they had to create and animate almost 500 different Pokemon sprites just for this extra feature. That's more Pokemon than the entire amount in Sword and Shield. Shots fired. That is crazy, the amount of stuff they crammed into this remake. And in my humblest of opinions, I just really like the Pokemon designs in this game. The Johto region just seemed to have a lot of my favorites in it. Also, I hate to be that guy, but remember when Pokemon Post games were good? Some genius at Game Freak must have looked at the finished product of Gold and Silver and said, yeah, this game's great and all, but do you know what it's missing? Give me that shit, I'm just gonna take it and stuff it in there. Yes! That's what it needs. Because once you beat the entire single player of the Johto region and watch the credits roll thinking that you are done, you realize you have the entire region of Kanto left to explore, which was the place from the previous game. This almost makes it like it's two remakes in one. I don't even know if this game's cheating or not. And in the remake of Kanto this time, it's even more expanded and beefed up than the original. And as a final cherry on top of this tall ass cake, we have the final secret boss battle against Red, the best trainer ever and your character in the first game. Am I dreaming now? Does this game actually exist? Am I even playing this? Damn right you are. And that's the video, folks. Hope you enjoyed. Tune back in next week where I'll be remaking this video with new graphics and gameplay features. And I'll port this to the 3DS too, why not? Okay, bye.